If we're talking about industry influences, big data and technology has been something that has influenced the industry to great extents over the past 2 years. I'm talking to Anton Ossip, who is the CEO of Discovery Insure. We're going to be talking about big data and how it influences their model and how it's going to influence the industry in the future. Anton, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Let's talk about big data. How has it added value to your product over the past few years?
So certainly, look, big data has influenced the industry for many, many years. I think the ability to price and segment risks correctly is obviously a critical part of insurance. However, over the last couple of years, it's really been taken to a whole nother level. The use of telematics, for example, which measures how a vehicle is being driven, which is ultimately the test of, is the chance of being an accident high or low, and the ability to take that data and to reward customers for driving better has really been the sort of core of our business. So we collect a huge amount of data, in fact 15 readings per second, and that data allows us to translate it to customers so that customers can understand, am I a good driver, am I a bad driver, and then ultimately reward them for that behavior and encourage them to become good drivers. That's just one of the many aspects that we've used data for.
Let's look at maybe on an industry-wide scale. How will big data influence or drive the industry in the future?
I think the company that's able to have the best data and to use it properly, because you can have a lot of data, if you can't use it properly, it's as good as useless. If you can use it properly, you'll have the upper hand on the industry. So, the first company that used credit scoring, many years back had the upper hand. The first person that built an actually dynamic pricing rating engine had the upper hand, and we think that that's going to continue, and it's not going to stop at telematics data. It will continue as more and more valuable data that ultimately can assist clients to make sure their risk is priced properly. We believe and can be taken a second step, which can help them improve the way they behave from an insurance risk perspective, will have the upper hand.
Let's talk about a very delicate subject that might be challenging, or it also might present opportunities to an insurer. You collect data from a client. Obviously, once you've collected the data, it belongs to the company, but it is still the client's private data. So what is the interplay between that? What is the line? Is there a line that cannot be crossed? And how do you handle this in terms of the GDPR, in terms of POPI that's going to be coming up in the future?
So I guess it's probably two aspects. The one is client permission. So the client, by joining a program that uses data, effectively opts into allowing their data to be used. And if they don't want to, they would opt not to be part of that program. So for example, telematics data in our business is voluntary. Customers can join Discovery Insure and choose not to have a telematics installed in their vehicle. Obviously, they won't get the rewards and they won't really take advantage of the program, but it's an opt-in for the customer ultimately. Sure. That's the first step. I think the second step is being very clear on what the data can be used for. So, and that's where we've kind of written it quite clearly in our policy document, in our policy wording, right up front. We said this is what we can use it for. It's about rewarding good behavior. It's not about punishing poor behavior. And if you kind of are quite clear in terms of how it's being used for, and the customers understand that, then you've got to stay true to that in terms of its utilization. And then probably, I said two things. Probably the third thing is just making sure that data is well protected it doesn't get into the wrong hands. Cyber protection around that data, absolutely critical. Use of the best technology available to ensure that the data is protected for the client's benefit.
Awesome. Anton, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.